Hello everybody, welcome to Adonics. In our previous session, we have discussed the concepts of Spring Boot framework, how it works, what are the theoretical background of Spring Boot, how Spring Boot components can be configured, how they can be built, and how we can set up the different components to make a project as a Spring Boot project. What are the advantages? What are the benefits? Now, in this session, we are going to try and write some Spring Boot application so that you can understand how the environment can be set up, how the application can be built, how it can be run, what are the uh, points that you need to remember to create a Spring Boot application. So the content that we are going to cover here is the Spring Boot environment setup, the project setup, writing a sample application, then building and testing the application both on standalone mode and then also on a browser mode. Then we will have a look at some of the comments that you need to remember to start your first Spring Boot application. Now let's have a look what we are going to do. We have already discussed a lot of things about Spring Boot. So let's build a web application using Spring Boot and explore different key features. Following are the things that you need to build a Spring Boot application. These are the softwares and the environments that you need. JDK 1.7 and above, Maven build tool, Eclipse IDE. You can use any IDE, and instead of Maven, you can also use the Gradle build tool, and the Spring Boot libraries. Please remember the JDK version should be 1.7 and above, because I think 1.5 you won't get full support of Spring Boot. Now, following are the steps that you need to do to set up your environment ready. First, you need to download JDK and Maven from the respective websites, install and extract the packages, set the bin directory in path variable, open the command prompt and type the following comments. If the above comment shows the version of Maven and Java, then your environment is ready. Let's have a look how we can set up the environment, how we can try these things. We'll have some hands-on coding to understand the details. Then we will create a project where we will be having the components like form.xml. We will add the dependencies. We will add the class files. We build the application. We will also create a jar and we will run the application. This is obviously an executable jar. To test the application by the following two ways: from the command prompt and from the web browser. So there are two ways we can do. So let's see how we can do it. Let's open the command prompt first and see where we have installed the Java and JDK. Let me test how we have the versions installed. Now it shows you that I have installed 1.7.0. You can always install version 1.8 or above, or 1.7 and above rather. Then let me check whether the Maven is installed or not. It will show you the Maven version. I have used 3.3.9. It will also show you the Maven home by the bin directories. It will also show you the Java version because, as you know, Maven has a dependency on Java. So first you need to install Java, and then you can install Maven. Then it will show you the Java home. So the environment is set to develop the application using Spring Boot. So let's see where we have downloaded these things and how those are set in the class path. Let me open program files. This is the Maven directory where we have extracted the zip file which we have downloaded. So we can also have a download folder, as we have mentioned that we always have a folder where we download all the softwares. Here we can check I have downloaded Maven, and I have taken this particular extracted version 3.3.9, and then I have put this in our folder under program files, Apache, Maven, and this is the bin directory. You need to set this path into your cluster file. Please remember there should not be any space between the file names or folder names. Otherwise, it will create a problem. It won't understand the path properly. Similarly, I have my Java installed here in my program files. Then you can see Java. This is the JDK version. Again, this is the bin folder. All these folders are set up automatically. Now, if I go to my computer, click on Properties, click on Advanced System Settings. These options might be different for different version of Windows or Linux. Go to Environment Variable, select the path. I'm editing it to have a look at what we have here. So this is the file where I have set up the JDK. So this is the JDK path, and this is the Maven bin path. All things are set. Now I am closing this thing. Whatever, I don't need this thing. I'm just closing the system variable folder. So all these paths are set. That's why when I type this Maven Java version and Maven version, it is showing me the version of Maven and Java which is installed here. Now let's go to the setup where we need to have the version. So we have downloaded JDK, we have downloaded Maven, we have installed, and with the JDK version we have extracted. But please remember, for Maven you just need to extract the zip file, put it into a particular folder, and set the bin path. That's it. There is no installers. Obviously, in Eclipse there is a particular plugin which you can install. Set the bin directories in the path, open the command prompt, and we have tested that everything is working fine. So my environment is ready to test the application. Now let's have a look at what we are trying to achieve this application. Here you just remember that whenever we are setting a path, we need to set up a workspace. So here we have set up a workspace known as Spring Boot. I have put this particular workspace in this workspace directory, and then I have put the project known as Spring Boot. I have all my projects here, so I have also created a folder on Spring Boot and then created the source files under this particular folder. Please remember, whenever Maven looks for something, it will always search for source main and Java. That's why I have put my example file here under this particular path location, so that the Maven can understand where my source file is, which you need to compile. That's the project structure, what we need to create, and then you can export it into your Eclipse version, Eclipse library, Eclipse environment, and then build it from the command prompt, or you can build it from your Eclipse directory, because Eclipse has a support of Maven plugin also. So now the dependencies are set, the environment is ready. We need to create a project for a Spring version, for a Spring Boot application. So before we just go into that thing, we need to check certain aspects of Spring Boot libraries. What are the dependencies? What are the things that are there? Let's try some of the comments that we need here. I have written down all the comments here. Let's try to understand what we have, the dependencies that are required for this. Let's try this particular comment. I have copied pasted it. Now just click Enter, and it will show you all the dependencies that are required. It will scan the projects first. What are the projects are there, and then it will check what are the dependencies here. So it will have a look at all the files, all the dependencies here, what we have built up. Then we can have a look at what are the other dependencies. Then there is a command called Maven clean install for cleaning the files. Then there is a command called Maven boot Spring Boot run to run the application, and there are certain commands called maven package to create a jar file. Then you can have that particular jar file by using the jar command. This jar is an executable jar which you can run by the command java -jar, and then it will show you the application and it will run the application. You can check it from the browser itself. So that's what we need to know about the comments. These particular comments are very important, as I have told you earlier also. These comments you need to understand how it works. Apart from that, we have also discussed about the dependencies and how the projects are working. So that's the environment we need to set up. That's the JDK, that's the downloaded version. There's the project we can set up. So there is two things which you need to remember, that we can, without Eclipse, without any IDE, we can set up the project as I have shown you here in the Spring Boot directory. You can just use the simple editor and write your Java files. But please remember, this is for your testing purpose only, not for developing enterprise level applications. Just to understand how it works, and then you can import it into your Eclipse IDE, or you can directly create a project, Maven project, from your Eclipse directory. Also, you can just have a file, then you can have a new project here, and you can select Maven project. Just go up it out. They will be having a directory. You can create Maven project, or you can have it directly existing build file. You can just create and import that thing, or you can create your Maven project directly by clicking here, or you can have your project created earlier into your local file system, and then you can just import it. Go to import, click on it, just click on existing Maven project. Now select the path of your project on the local file system. It will automatically import it into your Eclipse IDE as I have done it. Right. So those are the two things we need to know: how we set up the environment, how the environment can be tested, or how those environments can be used to write your first Spring Boot application. So these are the two things which you need to remember, like the environment setup, the comments, the class path setup, and finally test the environment where you have set up the bin path for your Maven directory, bin path for your JDK version, and also whether your Eclipse is installed properly and you can use it. So that's what we need to write a program in Maven using Spring Boot applications. But apart from Maven, you can also use Gradle project. That's a build tool only, so you need to have some other dependencies mentioned there to write a boot application. But Maven is more popular as it is supported by all the IDEs. So till now we have set up the environmental variables. We have checked those things, how it works. We have set a project directory here, and we have created a source folder here where we have all the source, all targets, all the files that we need to run our first sample application using Spring Boot. So hope you have understood what we are trying to do, what the environment setup is, what we need to create in your IDE to start your first project. So in the next session, we will create the project. We will check all the components, how the POM is configured, what are the sources we need to deploy, what are the targets we have to build, and how we can build those jar files, executable jar files, how we can tweak the application and make it run, and some final pointers which you need to understand to troubleshoot your application if you face any problem. I mean, those are basically the common problems that we face when we talk about Spring Boot application. When you talk about POM configuration file, what are the dependencies that we need to understand? What are the dependencies that we need to put if you want to put a web-based application, and the libraries that you need to fill up. the class path that you need to set. So those things we